Makoto stares intensely, sweat rolling down his face. He admits to himself that if he weren't seeing this with his own eyes, he never would have believed such a thing could actually exist. In the void, the spectacle grows. The glowing cocoon becomes the center of dozens of swirling galaxies of laws, lighting up the darkness with overwhelming power. The scene is so majestic and shocking that the observers below stand frozen. They are witnessing a historical moment they will likely remember for the rest of their lives. The phenomenon exerts a strong magnetic pull. Passers-by who know nothing about the situation are drawn toward the anomaly, asking confused questions. Groups of uniformed men float helplessly, staring blankly as the sheer pressure drags them toward the center of the power. Masha, the purple-haired officer, looks up in total disbelief next to a male companion. She shouts, asking who could possibly understand so many different forces of law at the same time. The sky fills with green energy as the crowd counts the manifestations of power. They realize with awe that there are at least 38 distinct belts of galactic light appearing above them. A mustachioed officer screams in terror, unable to process the reality. He states that a single warrior representing 38 different laws has never existed in history. Another man shouts in panic, comparing this feat to the legendary prodigy Aonuo Turing. He notes that even Turing didn't reach 20 belts of light, making this new warrior seem impossibly superior. He assumes this mysterious expert must have been cultivating since he was a fetus. Eagerly, he urges the crowd to fly forward so they can see the identity of this extraordinary being. Caught up in the excitement, the massive crowd flies directly into the swirling vortex of blue and green light to witness the birth of a legend. At the center of the storm, the massive 8-armed Makoto stands guard before the cocoon, which is now protected by a spherical energy barrier. Nearby, Hai Jaidao watches the transformation reach its peak. Makoto stares at the floating cocoon with a solemn expression. He admits he never imagined their starry universe could give birth to someone with such exceptional talent. Standing before the giant commander, Hai Jaidao comments on how absurd the situation is. He notes that Liu Shang's starting point is the final destination for other geniuses, calling it truly inconceivable. Below them, the red-haired officer and the gluttonous captain watch the scene unfold. The red-haired officer analyzes the situation seriously. She thinks to herself that Liu Shang has just ascended to level 12 and already mastered 38 forces of law. She shudders to imagine how terrifying his laws will be when he eventually reaches level 13. Suddenly, the gluttonous captain interrupts with a panicked shout, realizing another crucial detail. He points out that Liu Shang has already comprehended a level 13 thunder law. This implies that if he ascends further, he won't be limited to just one type of law power. This realization catches Makoto off guard. He turns his head with a confused expression, exclaiming in shock. Hai Jidao confirms the theory with excitement. He tells the commander that when Liu Shang reaches level 13, he will definitely possess multiple law powers and will be able to comprehend even more. Makoto stares blankly, his face filled with shock, as he processes the impossible potential of the warrior inside the cocoon. He quietly asks himself if Liu Shang can still be considered human. The energy cocoon finally reaches its limit, cracking under the intense pressure of the transformation occurring inside. With a burst of dark energy, the shell shatters completely. Liu Shang emerges from the debris, shirtless and surrounded by swirling black tendrils. His body glows with red vein-like patterns as he steps into the void. A massive cosmic phenomenon erupts around him, looking like a black hole forming within a nebula. Liu Shang stands at the bottom of this display, arms raised as he channels the overwhelming power. The energy swirls violently, compressing into a concentrated ring of light that distorts the space around it. Liu Shang focuses intensely, condensing the sphere of dark energy between his hands. He reflects on his cultivation, noting that the Tao inheritance of the Four Poles, from his master, Yang Yizhou, has been completely overshadowed by this new power. He wonders briefly if this deviation is good or bad. His expression turns serious as he analyzes his future. He realizes that his 3 current great inheritances only point to level 16 as their ultimate limit. Based on his own calculations, he concludes that level 16 power alone is absolutely incapable of saving this universe. A spectral image of his master, Yang Yizhou, appears behind him in the flames. Liu Shang makes a bold decision to abandon the direct path to level 16 that his master laid out. Instead, he resolves to integrate his own ideas and forge a completely new martial path, believing this is the only way to succeed. A confident, almost predatory smile spreads across his face as he feels his preparations are nearly complete. Standing amidst the blazing energy, Liu Shang assesses his current status. He confirms that the inherited memories from the 5 planets have pushed his techniques to the peak of level 13, and his spiritual power has successfully ascended to the peak of level 12. With a casual swipe of his hand, he tears a rift in the purple fabric of space. He decides that delaying any further is meaningless and it is time to officially take the final step. However, he notes there is one thing he must do before that. From the rift, he extracts a swirling dark purple eye, holding it in his palm. Lu Sheng focuses on the purple eye in his hand, crushing it with his grip until it cracks and shatters. As the eye breaks apart, he stands amidst the debris. His expression turns sharp as he suddenly senses an intense and ominous alert ringing through his body. He realizes that the bizarre beasts he defeated earlier had secretly planted a curse inside him. The curse manifests visually as terrifying, dark voids shaped like eyes with star-shaped pupils surrounding him. The dark entities chant words like greatness, oblivion, and destruction, trying to overwhelm his mind with their heavy presence. Lu Sheng stands calmly in the center of this dark domain, listening to the curse repeating the word oblivion over and over. He gathers a massive amount of golden light in his fist, mocking the spirits. He realizes they are persistently chanting to signal the powerful entity behind them to come hunt him down, so he decides to silence them immediately. With a dark chuckle, Lu Sheng tells them to die and hurls a devastating blast of light downwards. The attack connects instantly, disintegrating the dark eyes and shattering the curse's formation into dust. Lu Sheng reasons that since he already earned the hatred of a level 15 beast lord back on the Azure Star, this so-called Lord of Oblivion isn't enough to scare him. With a confident and arrogant smile, he challenges the unknown entity. He quotes a proverb that when one has too many fleas, they stop fearing the bites. He tells the Lord of Oblivion that if he wants to kill him, he should come now. Otherwise, he will just have to wait in line behind his other enemies. Lu Sheng closes his eyes as the aftermath of destroying the level 13 beast's consciousness floods his mind. An immense spiritual power merges with his divine soul, causing countless chaotic and fragmented scenes to flash before his eyes. Despite the aura of extreme evil and chaos contained within these memories, Lu Sheng remains unbothered. He stands surrounded by swirling purple energy, feeling the impact merely as if he were walking in the rain without an umbrella, perceptible, but not overwhelming. Looking down at his hand, he analyzes the sensation, noting that it feels very similar to when mutated cells parasitized his body in the past. This familiarity sparks an idea in his mind. He realizes that he can remotely control the mutated cell clone he left behind on the Azure Star to check on its status. With a focused expression, Lu Sheng touches 2 fingers to his forehead, activating his connection to project his consciousness across the universe. In an instant, his spirit teleports to a deep, underwater environment on the Azure Star, appearing amidst bubbles and blue water. His sharp eyes immediately notice a massive presence nearby. Looming in the dark depths is a gargantuan, terrifying sea monster with tentacles and multiple eyes, completely dwarfing Lu Sheng's projected form. Lu Sheng observes the creature and finds his target located within it, protected like a pearl inside an oyster. He sees that the mutated cell clone now looks like a pale, naked version of himself, with tentacles connected to its torso, constantly supplying it with energy from the beast. He floats closer to inspect his other self face to face. Lu Sheng analyzes the clone, realizing with some amusement that this body has already reached level 12. He notes that the clone has progressed even faster than his main body and seems to be enjoying a very comfortable existence. Lu Sheng analyzes the energy within the clone, observing that it has cultivated the extreme shadow aspect remarkably well. He realizes that by following the instincts engraved in its genes, the clone has explored the path of the constant star on its own, even entering a main sequence form. However, Lu Sheng notes a key difference. The star within this clone is a dark purple color, overflowing with chaos and evil. He wonders if this represents a sun from the shadow side of the universe. He deduces that the Lord from the other world has been raising this mutated cell clone with great care, transmitting inherited memories to guide it. Lu Sheng concludes that it is perfectly reasonable for the clone to have deduced the path of the dark star on its own under such guidance. A mischievous expression crosses Lu Sheng's face as he decides to intervene. He offers to give the clone some extra nutrients to speed up the process. Lu Sheng gathers the chaotic spiritual power he extracted from the level 13 beasts, the harmful parts he couldn't use himself, and forces this energy directly into the clone's body. The reaction is immediate. The mutated clone's body begins to expand rapidly, twisting into a grotesque and chaotic shape. Spikes burst from its skin as an aura pointing directly toward level 13 begins to radiate from it. Deep in the darkness, the entity raising the clone senses this growth. The massive, many-eyed presence is thrilled, encouraging the good boy to grow even faster so it can eventually tear it apart and devour it completely. Back in the water, Shang decides to leave quietly so as not to ruin the fatherly joy the beast is feeling at seeing its son prosper. With a cunning smile, he fades away, thinking that the next time they meet, it will be time for him to harvest this fruit. He laughs to himself, eagerly anticipating the moment the beast goes crazy when it realizes what has happened. This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.